Good evening, class. School is now in session. I'm Tony Velasquez. On this program, you and I will explore the innovations and advances that technology can contribute to improving the Filipino way of life. We'll upload information and ideas on the hardware and software that will make you aware of new directions that can lead to better ways of doing things. There's no time like the present to think about a future perfect. School education. Traditionally, to make it work, you'd need a teacher, a classroom, and books. But what if there were a shortage of one or some or of all three? Could cyber technology have been the solution to the perennial problems of the Philippine public school system?
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here, and this is a mystery box.
Kermit the Frog and the rest of the Sesame Street cast were pioneers in modern distance education. But once upon a time, the Department of Education, or DepEd, wished it could leapfrog over Kermit and bring crowded and ill-equipped Philippine public schools into the cyber age. The DepEd's push for a cyber ed project was inspired mostly by the popularity of programs like the abs-cbn Foundation's Sineskwela. It also picked up the cue from other private sector initiatives, such as the Ayala Foundation's GILAS, or Gearing Up Internet Literacy and Access for Students, that aims to expand internet connectivity among public high schools. But more than just beaming canned educational TV programs or providing computers and internet connectivity, the Cyber Ed project was meant to give live 15 to 20-minute lessons via satellite to nearly 38,000 remote rural public schools nationwide. In 2007, a year after the Cyber Ed project was proposed, the Thai embassy invited DepEd officials and Filipino reporters to observe firsthand Thailand's Cyber Ed program. The program was by then already in its 12th year, with funding mostly from a foundation set up by the Thai king. The Thai government offered to help DepEd with technical expertise on how to set up its own Cyber Ed program.
To level the playing field, in a sense that children in remote areas can have access to the same information that those children in the urban, well-endowed areas.
Education Assistant Secretary Jesus Mateo was the project director for the 26 billion peso Philippine Cyber Ed project. Mateo never got to implement the plans for it. When a corruption scandal aborted the now infamous Chinese-funded National Broadband Network deal, the Cyber Ed project and its counterpart Chinese funding was suspended along with it. So that's a folder you have, and that is a copy of the plan as approved by the NEDA.
That's right.
And where did you dig that out from? Saan na nakatago yung plano na yan?
Nasa inactive file.
Inactive file. Mateo regrets how, in the years that followed after the Cyber Ed project was suspended, other developing countries have successfully piloted their own.
And you know, Vietnam is already doing what we're supposed to be doing. They have already partnered with the telcos and providing more computers, computers to all schools.
Yeah.
Tayo, we're just starting.
Starting. Pero dapat tayo nauna.
Dapat tayo nauna.
Critics of Cyber Ed have called it an example of misplaced priorities. They've said such an ambitious project should have taken the back seat to building more schools, improving teachers' training, and providing more quality textbooks for students. But the former Cyber Ed project director still believes it could have provided more cost savings and an improvement of teacher skills as well as student performance. ASEC Mateo hopes the project can still be revived by the incoming Aquino administration.
Maybe what we can do is to implement it on a staggered basis. For example, pick up the training component, speed it up the component for our teachers, training of our teachers on ICT, and then also establishing computer laboratories to our secondary schools and even elementary schools.
But with no new funding available, the DepEd can only dream of following the trail of countries like India, which has had a long-running cyber education program. And the plan for leapfrogging Philippine public schools into the cyber age will have to remain, for now, on the shelf.
Well, the cyber education project may have been put on the back burner, but there are other government initiatives aimed at bringing the country's public education system into the 21st century. Joining us now to talk about the iSchools project is Commission on Information and Communications Technology Chairman, Secretary Ray Anthony Rojas Chua III. And also joining us, the project manager for iSchools, Antonette Tony Torres. Thank you very much, Secretary Ray and Tony, my tokayo, for joining me on the show.
Hi, good evening, Tony.
Cyber Ed obviously never got off the ground, but was there any evaluation made by the CICT of this project?
Well, as I understand it, because that actually happened several years ago before I actually came in, but I understand that it did go through a technical evaluation by the CICT.
So bagong panahon mo. Parang gano'n. Bata pa si Secretary Ray kasi. So it passed through some kind of evaluation then?
Yes, that's as I understand it, yes.
Oh, what kind of evaluation?
Well, CICT does primarily just the technical evaluation. So we leave the cost-benefit analysis, the economics to NEDA.
Yeah. Okay, so technically it was feasible to put up the Cyber Ed project.
As I understand it, yes. All second-hand information.
So you didn't see the evaluation yourself?
No.
Oh, okay. So yung iSchools ba, Tony, is this like an offshoot or some kind of spin-off from the Cyber Ed project?
Not really, sir. The iSchools started way ahead of the cyber education project.
So kayo pa ang precursor to all of it?
Yeah, we started in 2006.
Okay, 2006. Kasi, but in 2006 din naman ata na-initiate yung proposal for Cyber Ed, right?
I think that's, yung conceptualization was around that time, yeah.
So, iSchools, obviously lahat ngayon ng bagay, kailangan may I na prefix, no? To make it sound innovative, intelligent.
Tulad po ng hawak niyo.
Oh, yeah. That is mine. Not I, but mine. Anyway, so iSchools, ang objective niya is to teach information technology to both the teachers and the students, right?
Yes, sir. And to add is to use ICT and integrate it into teaching and learning process.
Okay. Would it have been similar to what the Cyber Ed project was supposed to implement, meaning to say that you would have distance learning and bring the lessons to remote classrooms by satellite technology? Ganun ba?
I think the approach was slightly different because the primary goal was to expose students to the computerized environment, to the online environment.
Familiarize themselves.
So they know how to use computers, and a big component of the project was we were providing internet access also. We were paying for that for 1 year so that the students get to experience the internet environment. Cyber Ed is more from the delivery of educational material through another medium, and of course it's a broadcast technology as opposed to the internet, which is interactive.
So yung iSchools is merely just to parang introduce the students and the teachers into using as to how to take advantage of IT, in making their lessons more interesting siguro. But yung Cyber Ed was on how to deliver the educational or instructional material mismo. Is it like a delivery mechanism?
Yes, that's correct.
So yung iSchools project started in
2006.
2006, sorry, 2006. So saan na ho na naggawa itong iSchools project?
Well, the project itself, it started out with 40 pilot schools. And then we expanded that in the second phase. We rolled out 320. In the third phase, we rolled out another 320. So to date, we've rolled out 680 computer laboratories. We have another 320 in process. So by this year, we will have 1,000 recipients of these computer labs.
These computer laboratories are located in the public
high schools.
High schools.
Yes.
Right.
The focus is the public high schools.
The equipment that has been installed in these public high schools, where do they come from?